What is Cafe Mocha? Cafe Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is En Vogue.
This is India Ari.
So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
It's radio from a woman's perspective. We got a woman who speaks her mind on stage, on screen, and on her podcast. Comedian Ms. Pat is coming up. I'm Angelique.
Yo, along with Lonnie Love. Yo, it's springtime, ladies, and there are a lot of black TV shows that we should be watching.
Ooh.
I actually got to watch an interesting show written by Donald Glover, starring Dominic Fishback, called Swarm. And it's very unusual. It's on Amazon Prime. And it's very, very unusual, different type of dark horror type of show. So it's been trending during the weekends. People have been, watching it. And it's kind of based on a fan base that is sort of similar to like the fan bases of like the Beehive or Rihanna's Navy. And it basically takes this social media type of item and it's made into a docuseries. It's very interesting. Dominic Fishback does a great job in the title role, and it's called Swarm. So you might want to be able to check that out on Amazon Prime. Also, you have The Black Hamiltons. That is on BET Plus. Let's not forget about BET Plus, y'all, because right now there is a bidding war for BET Plus between, it's three people now. It's Byron Allen, Tyler Perry, and also Diddy is putting his hat in the ring. They feel like it should be black now, but this is called The Black Hamiltons. And our fella Lamont Rucker, Vanessa Bell Calloway, Elise Neal is in it. And it's also on BET Plus. Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story, is coming to Netflix. And it gives you the come up of Queen Charlotte, which if you watch Bridgerton, you know that Queen Charlotte is black. So this is her coming up. Okay. And that's on Netflix.
When? You know?
The date is TBD, but I believe it'll be like in April. You also have Rap-ish, which is not ish, but it's something else. But it's by our girl, Issa Rae. It talks about high school friends that connect over their love of music and decide to form a rap group. And this is on HBO Max. And it has a lot of new black faces, so it's something very good to watch. You also have a few others. You have Run the World with my girl Brescia Webb. That is like 4 black women living in Harlem. Isn't that funny? It's like we got Harlem over there, and now you got 4 black women living in Harlem, but that's on Stars.
And Brescia is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Brescia is so ridiculous in this show. I ran across it kind of by accident. You know how when you're streaming shows, it'll just run into the next show. I think I was watching BMF or something like that, and it ran into Run the World. I'm like, what's this?
I love it.
And sexy. Brescia acting a damn fool.
Brescia's always crazy. You also have P-Valley, which you can watch on Stars, which is about a little strip club in a little town called Chucalissa, Mississippi. And it's called The Pint. And it's a very interesting, but it got a lot of awards for awards season for the NAACP Image Awards, and that's called P-Valley. You also have The Kings of Napa, and that's on the OWN network. Don't forget, you have a network called OWN. They have a lot of black programming like The Kings of Napa, Ladies Who List Atlanta, which is a reality property show.
Okay, but I'm sorry for interrupting, but I'm just curious. Does their app, are they streaming yet? Because I don't have OWN. I'm just streaming.
Well, if you do have it, I'm pretty sure they will be, because that's the reason why, it's important to follow what happens with this BET merger or sale, because I'm pretty sure they'll take all these programs that I'm listing that a lot of the listeners probably don't know about. They want to probably put it in one place, and then that way it's streaming. And that's really what BET Plus was initially supposed to be about, but you need, that ownership to kind of get you there. I just have a few others. Also, Ready to Love, which our boy, nephew Tommy, is the host. It's like, if you're tired of seeing Black women as diversity hires on dating shows, tune in to Ready to Love. And also, there is another dating show called Queen's Court that is on Peacock that's getting a lot of talk. It's with Tamar, it's with Evelyn Lozada and Navia. And
I ain't gonna comment.
It's like, but it's getting a lot of buzz. And also, lastly, Women of the Movement. That's something that is on ABC, and I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu. Adrienne Warren plays Emmett Till's mom, Mamie Till. That's something that's still worth a watch if you have not caught it. When we talk about the fact that there's no Black programming, that there are no Black shows, there's been a lot of work done by a lot of Black creatives to get Black programming out there. And so it's very important for us to support, these programs. And the thing is that they're so different. There used to be a time in the 2000s, and Yo-Yo remembers this, that we only had UPN and BET. That's all we had. And now we have this slew of different types of programming, different types of streaming services. So find the show that fits for you and at least stream it. You don't have to watch all of them, but at least there's something in there for you. Yeah. And so support them. And so that was my report on all the new Black shows for the spring.
Lonnie, I wanted to ask you, did you watch Luther on Netflix?
I haven't been able to catch that yet, but I'm hearing that it's a wonderful film
really
with
is.
them.
A great watch.
Do you have to have watched the series to watch the movie? Because that's why I haven't watched the movie yet. Because I don't know anything about the series.
It's just straight. Yeah. You can just watch it.
Okay, cool.
Watch it. Cafe Mocha. It's Cafe Mocha. Lonnie Love, Yo-Yo, Angelique, and on the line, man, this is one of my hilarious comedy sisters. She has been doing stand-up, and now she has this hit show called The Miss Pat Show. And she also hosts a podcast called The Pat Down with Miss Pat. Welcome to Cafe Mocha, Miss Pat. What's up, sis?
Hey, thank y'all for having me.
You know what? You've been doing comedy for a while. Let everybody know how you started out doing comedy.
I just took a dare from a caseworker. I just said, she was like, you should do comedy. So I went to an open mic, and nobody checked my criminal background history. So I was like, hey, I can do this. Don't nobody know I used to steal.
Wait, your caseworker, what were you doing? Was it your caseworker, or were you a social worker?
No, it was No, I went through the welfare to work program. Old Bill Clinton got me happy to be a Democrat, then made me get a job.
I love her.
So I voted for Bill Clinton. He started the welfare to work program, and the caseworker thought I was funny. So I just went and tried open mic. I watched it for about a year, and then I was like, I think I can do this. And I just tried open mic, and I was like, oh, I got a new job. I'm never stopping this.
I love it. You know what? Crazy. She is one of the funniest females out there right now, and one of the funniest comics out there, because her comedy is very, very unique. For the listeners, Miss Pat, that may not know, tell them how you developed your first act.
I just dug deep. I talk about myself, having 2 kids by a married man, getting shot a couple times, trafficking cocaine, and I just figured nobody had my story, so I wanted to tell my story, and then people started listening, and I got paid for it. I mean, think about it. When you a woman, you tell your story anyway to your friend. The difference in comedy is you just got more people listening, and somebody gonna pay you.
I love it.
What I love is how you just throw these things out. You know what I'm saying? You just trafficking 2 kids by a married man, trafficking. Like, yeah, girl, I had eggs for breakfast. Then I got my nails done.
That's her.
That's
I'm like,
life.
You have to you check her out, because she is one of the funniest stand-ups. When I say funny, she's funny. She participated in the 9th season of NBC's Last Comic Standing in 2015. Now, Miss Pat, did that help change? Did that help elevate your career doing that type of show?
I don't know, Lonnie, because I got eliminated on my birthday. I was like, damn, y'all. Them fool kicked me off on my birthday. I said, y'all, it's my birthday. That's what I remember. I said, and you know how, as a comic, you always think you a little bit better than the next person who made it. So the girl with the heart issue made it. I was like, y'all gonna take a weak heart over me? And it's my birthday. I said, I was so mad. I was like, y'all just taking that white girl because she telling y'all she like unicorns in her heart bad. I was pissed.
Oh my God. Oh, that's Miss Pat, y'all. Patricia Williams. I tell you. Okay.
But the first time I saw Miss Pat, I saw Miss Pat doing, it was a show, and I'm just listening to her talk. I do nothing of Miss Pat. And that's how I found out about the show Miss Pat on BET. But tell me how, I know you got started from a coworker. You've been doing it for what, since 2002, I think I heard you say?
Yeah, almost 20, look, right at 20 years.
20 years. Is it your lifestyle that how you create your jokes, or is it just, do you like the lifestyle of jokes? Is that what made you famous? Being so
No, I think it's just whatever happens, I don't sit down and try to write a joke. You never really hear me talk about current events, because by the time you work on them and you get them hilarious, people don't forget about their current events. So I just take day-to-day things. Like, I give you an example. I told my son a couple of months ago, I was like, your son is gay. I have a gay daughter, so I know a gay baby. And my son is just denying. He's in denial. I was like, hey, the boy is gay. He's 6. My son ain't gay. I'm telling you, excuse me, I said, your son but we gonna love him regardless. So that's how I come up with material.
I love it.
I don't know.
Get Angelique's face.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line, having a hilarious conversation with Miss Pat of the Miss Pat Show. Season 3 is streaming on BET Plus. Season 2 on BET Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Let's get into it. You've been doing the stand-up, and then how did the Miss Pat Show come to be? Because I know Lee Daniels had something to do with this.
Well, I did Mark Maron podcast, and I sold a book to HarperCollins, and then I did Joe Rogan podcast, and the two, somehow they both dropped like in the same week of each other, and Hollywood just came. I mean, I had like 8 interviews, and people like, I want to give you a show, and the first time didn't really work out, and then I hooked Imagine came in, Ron Howard Company, and when they kind of put a hold on me, they got Lee Daniel involved from the first episode when he was doing Empire, when it was when the first season was out, and it just took a minute because they was trying to give me a show where I was like, this ain't funny, y'all, and I was like, I just go back to stand up, and so then we went through a couple of writers, and they couldn't understand, a hungry comedian, but you're gonna remove a writer. I said, y'all can keep y'all money because y'all can never give me as much as I can steal from y'all. I said, so I'm gonna go back to the road until we can get this together. So finally, Lee Daniel found us a writer, and we clicked and made it work. But everybody was scared of the show because I'm a cussing mom and it had never been done before. And, the language that we use, like real black folks talk at their house or real people talk at their house. And, the industry just wasn't ready. They was trying to make me a nurse. I can't even pronounce big words. I'm like, this ain't going to work. They're going to know I'm lying. I can't even say script. So how the hell you going to expect me to say scopiopy or whatever the hell that means? Stethoscope. I can't even say stethoscope. The thing to go around your neck to listen to your heartbeat. I'm like, this ain't going to work. Nobody's going to believe my ignorant ass up here, a nurse. I can't even pronounce these. I can't even spell this. Dropped out of school in the 8th grade. Let me be me. And so finally, they let me be me, and it worked.
That's the key, Miss Pat. The thing is that, and for the listeners in Hollywood, they try to hook you up. Like the first thing they do is just what Miss Pat said. She had this wonderful book called Rabbit, and then she's been doing all these podcasts. She was on this radio show, frequent guest called Bob and Tom. Hilarious. She just been killing it, been killing the role. And then here comes Hollywood a knocking. And the first thing they tell you is, you got to find a writer. You got to, or we got to get you a writer. And they usually find some little white guy that don't know nothing about black comedy, don't know nothing about black life. And like you said, but she had the strength to say no. She was not so desperate that she was like, okay, and then because what happens is you go and you pitch the idea. And so, they're looking at her like, wait, what? And so she knows herself. How did you know that you were so in tune to yourself to be able to make that no and not be afraid to say that no for the listeners?
Well, for me, I knew what I was talking about was way funnier than these writers was trying to write. And I had one writer, she just took all my jokes. I'm like, I wouldn't say that corny crap. And, and then, I'm like, I'm not saying this. I said, you can't be funnier than me. You can't, because I know what funny is, and I know how funny fits me. We ain't out here writing for nobody else. We writing for me, so I know what I would say. Right. And so, I just stood to my ground. Even after I got in the room, I had one white writer that went and told everybody I was homophobic. I said, how am I homophobic? When my daughter down here getting down in Atlanta, she's so gay. Me homophobic? So they ended up putting me in therapy and everything. I don't need no therapy because you can't. I had to learn that you can't say, you're horrible. Hollywood have a different language. Can we do better? Oh, you got to pick yourself up. Is there another joke in you? The hell with that. I'm like, you're horrible. And I got in trouble. But I stood my ground, and I will always stand my ground.
That's
because
right.
in the end, all I got left is me. Because in the end, that's their show. That's Fox and BET Plus show. I own a piece of it, but let's be honest, that's their show. I own stand-up. So if I don't take up and handle my business while I got that opportunity, I might not never have another opportunity.
Definitely. It's Cafe Mocha on the line talking to Miss Pat about her Miss Pat show. Season 3 streaming on BET Plus, Season 2 on BET Wednesdays at 10 p.m. So let's talk about Season 3 that is currently on BET Plus. Tell us what can we expect?
Oh, it's funny. I mean, it's a much lighter season because the first 2 seasons, it came out. We had cliffhangers. It was really deep. We did an episode about my mama boyfriend molesting me. We did an abortion episode. We did. If it happened to me, whether you want to hear it or not, I want to put it out there because there's so many people out there that have been voiceless for so long, especially women. When they talk about abortion, they talk about having a gay child. They want to make everybody comfortable. Well, when I did the episode about my gay daughter, I did it like a black parent. I don't know what the hell him, them, they, and she and they is, but let me tell you this: I need you to explain who you is today, and that's how I did the episode.
Wow.
Because, when they come up with all these new genders and stuff, I'm 50 years old. That stuff is confusing. And if it was confusing to me, I know it was confusing to other people. The first time I heard it, I asked my daughter, why are you Neutrogena? Well, I had never heard of Neutrogena or whatever they call it. And it resonated with people.
That's it. That's the whole point is being able to resonate and take something and so that people can understand. Because a lot of people don't, everybody's so busy being PC, politically correct, that they don't understand. People actually don't know.
Yeah, and people want to have a real conversation. If you got to walk in, if I got to be around you and you so holy that oh my God, you cuss. Well, go about your business, because I'm going to go over here at Chick-fil-A and cuss where the real Christians hang out at.
Oh, my God. So what, let's talk about some of your cast members. You're the star, but you also have Tammy Roman as your sister. Can you talk about some of the cast?
Tammy Roman is my sister, and to be honest with you, I didn't know who Tammy Roman was. I've told this to her 100 times. When they brought her on, and then I realized she was a reality star, I said no. They was like, just let the girl audition. I'm telling you, she can act. She walked in that room, auditioned, and walked out of that room with that character. Yes. I mean, couldn't have picked a better person. Javon Calloway is from theaters. Never heard of him. Honestly, the 23-year-old who I created the show with, Jordan E. Cooper, he had already had Tammy and Javon Calloway in mind when I met him. So he had already brought them to the table. And then we just found the kids. The only kid I cast was the kid Junebug, because that's my favorite kid in real life.
I love it.
Mamas be talking about, I ain't got no favorite kid. You a lie. It's one of them kids you cannot stand, but you still love. And one of them kids that you love unconditionally, is a good child. That's, for me, is my child, Junebug. Everybody else can go halfway to hell.
Miss Pat, are you still doing your podcast? Do you have time?
Yeah, I'm still doing it. I'm sitting outside of my house now. I just built a podcast studio for it. But yeah, I'm still doing it.
Okay, it's called the Pat
And
Down.
I'm doing DIY. I'm building my own house. I'm the contractor. It's running me crazy.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, God. He's probably don't curse him out, Miss Pat.
I love Miss Pat.
I've already cussed them out and sued a few people too. I don't know why they be trying to play with me because I'm a girl. They think I be like, TikTok said that ain't right.
As we go, Miss Pat, what is it that you want people to know about you and to understand about Miss Pat?
I just want people to be able to, I'll tell people this every night. I just want, if you don't take nothing from me, learn how to take that pain that you live with and learn how to find a way to laugh at it so you got control of your life. You're never going to have control of your life when you're dwelling on stuff you cannot change. I don't cry. If I cry, I got to pop you in your mouth. But I've just learned over the years, let it go. If you can't change it, we can't change yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So why keep living in yesterday? I tell people that each and every time, learn how to just laugh at it so you can have control. It's a funny joke in it. And everything that you go through in life, it's a small funny bit somewhere in there. If you stop crying and pay attention, you'd be surprised how much you'll laugh.
Well, you definitely making us laugh, Miss Pat. Yes. And I want everybody to check her out. The Miss Pat Show, Season 3, streaming on BET Plus, and Season 2 is on BET Wednesdays at 10 p.m. It's always a pleasure. You got to come back, sis. I love you so much and keep making the people laugh.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so much, Miss Pat. Can't wait to catch a show.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Claude Kelly from We Sound Crazy with your Black Music Month Spotlight. Victoria Monet is an American singer and songwriter. As an artist, Monet released a second installment of her Jaguar trilogy, titled Jaguar 2. The album won Best R&B Album and Best Engineered Album, Non-Classical, at the 66th Grammy Awards, and featured hit singles such as Smoke.
And so I know I want the generation where that music was their prime to appreciate it, but also my generation to find some of the lyrics fun and use them as captions. So I want to have that juxtaposition.
Party Girls and the RAA certified platinum track, On My Mama.
Hey, it's Angelique here. Walt Disney World Resort is bringing you the culture with music, art, and food. Imagine savoring Princess and the Frog's decadent bread pudding and Berry Beignets at Disney's Port Orleans Resort. Take in Disney's Animal Kingdom Park's Circle of Life Festival, celebrating the Lion King and more. Walt Disney World Resort is a place where you can come and celebrate with your family, and you can do it soulfully. Bring yourself to Walt Disney World Resort and celebrate the culture.
It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. Angelique, Lonnie Love, and Yo-Yo. We all know the hot groups of the 90s. Diddy, Notorious Big, Salt and Pepper. But do we know the women behind these great acts? There's a new book out called Women Behind the Mic, Curators of Pop Culture. They are here, two women who were behind the mic and helped blow some of these 90s acts into the stratosphere. Michelle Joyce, thank you for joining Cafe Mocha.
Thank you so much for having me.
And a familiar face and voice, our very own Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire. Welcome back to Cafe Mocha.
Hello. Hi, ladies. Hi, Lonnie. Hi, Angelique. Hi, Yo-Yo.
Hello.
So take us back to the 90s. What were you guys doing back in the day with these acts? And why don't we know about it?
We were going to work every day. That's the first thing, Angelique. When you're grinding in that way, you don't think that you're building something spectacular, like a little thing they call pop culture nowadays. Mm-hmm. So I was director of publicity at Arista Records, and MJ, we call Michelle MJ.
The director of marketing at Bad Boy Entertainment. But before that, I worked at a label, and I have a story about Yo-Yo. Mm-hmm. I worked at East West Records.
Yes.
And I got promoted to the college promotion and marketing manager for hip hop. And Yo-Yo was signed to the label. And our colleague, Kevin Chico Gibbs, was out for a promo day with her. And I asked him if we could slide in one interview for me at WSUV, Fordham University. And we took Yo-Yo to the station to be interviewed that day. But I'm having a 360 moment right now.
How old was she?
She was a baby just like I was.
18 years old, and every time I go somewhere and Chico is in the vicinity, I call him up and he comes. I have pictures of him with his son, and now his son is a grown man, and I'm holding his son. It's crazy.
You ladies were PR people for, Bad Boy was defined hip hop. At one point, there was nothing but Bad Boy. So talk about building this skinny kid named Sean Combs into a brand, which wasn't really a thing back then, but he was a brand before it was in word,
There was a thing called branding, and that's a marketing term. And Michelle's role was marketing. I was publicity. Mm-hmm. And I will never forget the day that Clive Davis called me and said, LaJarge, I want you to start treating Puffy as an artist. I said, say what? Wait, what? He said, I want you to start getting press for him and doing everything for Puffy just as you would if he were an artist. And I said, yes, sir. And the first thing I got him was a 4-page spread in Vanity Fair and a photo shoot with Annie Leibovitz in a mansion in L.A.
Wow.
And they named that article The Notorious VIP.
Oh, wow. Vanity Fair.
Vanity Fair.
Wow.
It wasn't a hard sell because Bad Boy, like you said, was at the top of the charts. And that was due to a lot of our efforts behind the scenes, toiling. And at one point, there wasn't a magazine that did not have one of the Bad Boy artists on its cover, not a newspaper where the Bad Boy artists weren't on the cover or any of my artists. At one point, I'll never forget, I stood at a magazine stand and counted 16 covers at once. And then I was like, that's why I'm so daggone tired.
Right. Here's what I want to know. Because hip hop in the early 90s was such a fade and the stereotype that stood with it, a lot of people didn't want to touch it. Was it difficult for marketing and publicity to get artists the publicity and marketing that get that engine going?
It was really challenging, but we were successful in that we were able to break our artists and our projects on the street level when street team marketing was still a thing, when mixtapes were still a thing. And LaJoyce and I talk about this frequently. Nobody wanted to book our hip hop acts on TV shows or even in venues because there was such a stigma associated with it. Oh, if we book hip hop here, it's going to be violent and going to be drugs. We had one person that we could call, and her name was Mary Flowers.
Yes.
And she was the head of talent booking at the Apollo. And she would say, okay, baby, send me some music and I'll call you back. And she really helped us break hip hop artists in New York City.
We love Mary. Mary named her cat that used to hang around the building, Yo-Yo.
Oh, I love that.
That's so cute. That is adorable. Now and Michelle would do that, and I would leverage my other artists, my R&B artists, with my rap artist at the time. So I would tell them, okay, you're going to want Deborah Cox, you're going to want Whitney, you're going to want TLC, and I would leverage them and make space for my rap hip hop acts.
Was it difficult for women behind the scenes to make a statement when you were taking these groups through the ringer?
No, not for me. It wasn't difficult. I didn't have the issue with people flirting with me. You know, I was always very buttoned up and looked corporate. And I think that that was intentional because I carried a very much the sentiment, don't mess with me, that I am here all business. I'm the chick with the clipboard. So I always gave off the vibes that, you know, this is all business and, you know, stay away. So I was taken seriously. And I had the protection of my artist. I would have Biggie telling people don't curse around her. And
come on, Biggie.
Yes, Biggie would say don't curse because I would make them pay if they curse. So I would have the protection of Puffy. You know, he would always say, you have to check with her first. So they very much helped to make space once they found you on your side. But Michelle and I bonded on the first day that I had to do a press day with Biggie. He hadn't been media trained. It was going to be at the Bad Boy Artist. I had invited just a select group of press and spaced them out an hour each. And Biggie and I were going to huddle first and do a quick media training. Well, when we came and we got together and he was looking me up and down and giving me a real nasty look. And I said, okay, let's do this. And just, how would you answer this question? And I'm just going to ask you some questions and answer. So I'm like, answer the question with the question. Don't say the N word. Don't do this. And he said that I was a B. He said, you're a B.
Wow.
And I said, first of all, it's Miss B to you. And we're going to do it this way. This is how you're going to respond. And he said, I'll be right back. So he got up, he walked away, and about 15 minutes later, I went looking for him. I was like, well, maybe he's hanging out in somebody's office. And then I asked the receptionist, is he big? He said, oh, yeah, he left about 15 minutes ago. And I went to Michelle's office, and I'm like having a fit. I'm like, the press is on their way. She's like, girl, tell him what you said, MJ.
I said, girl, breathe. Get used to it. I said, and from now on, you're going to tell him to be an hour earlier than you actually need him. And that's the way we trick him into being here on time.
And then she said, you're hungry, let's go.
We went out and got some food and came back. And he was there when we got back.
Here's your dose of espresso. Strong, hot news now.
This is The Espresso. It's been 3 years since the murder of George Floyd, and Minneapolis police finally came up with new rules for cops. Like they can't pull you over for a minor traffic law or just because they smell weed. And there's a list of other rules.
This isn't about a checklist of paragraphs to say, we did this and we're done, we did that and we're done. This is about making change real. It's about changing the culture of policing.
And the day many thought was never coming finally did.
Donald Trump was arraigned on a New York Supreme Court indictment on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree.
Hold your applause. This weekend in theaters, Viola Davis plays Michael Jordan's mom in Air.
And if you've ever seen videos of Dolores Jordan, she's extraordinary. You know, she's one of those people where you're like, where did this talent come from? Where did this vision come from? There's a whole generation of people, they didn't really have dreams. And if they did, they died in the sharecroppers field.
That's The Espresso.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line. New York Times best-selling author LaJoyce Brookshire and Michelle Joyce. The book is titled Women Behind the Mic, Curators of Pop Culture, Volume 1, Word to the Wise. I want to know, because right now there's this talk about SWV versus Escape and who should be opening. And in your opinion, because you ladies know about the history of this, who should be the headliner?
Wow. From my perspective, SWV, because SWV paved the way for Escape to come behind them and have the career that they have. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but that's what I feel.
Yeah, online, it's like that. Yeah.
Okay. Is that what the scuttlebutt is online also?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I would say that if we are going in terms of Billboard, the Billboard effect, then we should line it up. Who has more number ones? Who has more top tens? Who sold more units? Because that is, yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. Women just think differently than men. You know, it's just like, you know,
they're logical.
Let's talk about the point of having two creative, strong women, you know, helping to curate, you know, this art form, and how you were different than your male counterparts.
Very different from my male counterparts, because, you know, it's every woman for herself in this industry.
Right.
And unless you, Yes, today, unless you tapped into the sisterhood, because their sisterhood was very much alive and present. And your very own Sheila Eldridge is a part of that sisterhood. Deanna Williams is a part of the book. She was on the panel discussion that we held at the Apollo Theater. And we have always held one another up, given one another projects, leaned on one another, cried. Our sisterhood runs deep. Michelle and I have been getting into good trouble for 30 years.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Being in the industry for 30 years, I know for artists such as myself, it's been very difficult to recreate and to reinvest in yourself, to create a different brand or to rename yourself. Have you guys seen that to be an issue in your industry where women started out like trailblazers and now you have to find a space for yourself in an industry you help create?
Yes, absolutely. We have to find a space.
Yeah, and I think some of us have done it well and some of us are still trying to figure it out. So, for example, I haven't worked at a label in years, but I remixed my career when I went back to school to get certified in digital media marketing. And so I've been able to continue to work with independent artists and record labels and brands because I bought a skill set that kept me competitive and relevant.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. What advice do you ladies give to a woman who's out there listening right now, and it doesn't matter whether it's music or something, but she's trying to do something different, or maybe she's feeling discouraged? What piece of advice would you give to that listener right now?
The one piece of advice I would give is to, number one, follow your dreams, because our book is a compilation of 22 women who prove that dreaming is still worthwhile today. And the second thing, the companion to that, is to educate yourself, immerse yourself in everything, and no matter what the industry is, immerse yourself in it. Go to the events, purchase their periodicals, read everything you can get your hands on online, and above all else, find a mentor.
Mm-hmm. I would say a few things, and LaJoyce and I say this all the time: stay ready, won't have to get ready. Be prepared for the opportunity when it arrives. And I would say that your net worth is your network. Build your network. Mm-hmm. So many opportunities have come from just my sisters picking up the phone and asking if I want to take on another project.
Yeah. I know it was so difficult for me when, you have all of these, I grew up in an era where you had regional reps to rep you, and a lot of the relationships you really they weren't attached to you. They were attached to the labels. They were attached to the marketing rep or the PR rep. And so when I found my way to go independently for myself, I had no relationships and no resources, What could you tell young artists today when it comes to, you said, building relationships, having a representative? How could we do that different this time around?
I would say if you walk into a room, make sure you get a business card from everybody in that room and you build your network. Mm-hmm. Attend local events related to whatever industry you're in. Find local chapters of organizations for whatever industry you're in. Build your network.
I love it.
That is so vitally important. That do not leave any room where you haven't met everyone. If it's a ginormous party, of course, that's impossible. But it's a rule of thumb that I hold on to today. I went to a dinner party in Philadelphia. There were probably about 30 people there. A cousin of mine, it was given for her. She's a grant recipient in Philadelphia, an artist. And there were 3 tables of people, and I made my way around the room. I met a gentleman who was a producer for NPR. I met the woman just speaking about the beautiful murals in Philadelphia. The lady said, "Oh, the woman who curates that is right over there. Let me introduce you." And she wants to put women behind the mic on a mural in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Ladies, as we close, what would you say is your greatest contribution to this craft, starting with you, LaJoyce?
I would say that my greatest contribution to the craft has been excellence and execution in everything that I've touched. It's been excellent.
And how about you, Michelle?
Paying it forward. Every table that I had a seat at, I put my big bag in the seat next to me and saved it for the next sister to come along.
Excellent. The book is called Women Behind the Mic, Curators of Pop Culture, Volume 1, Word to the Wise. It's a story of 22 veteran executives who were the engines behind the most iconic artists of the time. You can pick it up. It's written by LaJoyce Brookshire and Michelle Joyce. Thank you, ladies, for joining us on Cafe Mocha today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I'm definitely picking up the book.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye, you all.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Make sure you follow the show on all platforms at Cafe Mocha Radio if you haven't already and you want to hear all the good stuff you missed during the songs and the commercials. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Go to wherever you listen to podcasts, type in Cafe Mocha Radio, click subscribe. Till next time, you know where to find us on all platforms at Cafe Mocha Radio.
Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Compass Media. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.
Hi, this is Chuck Harmony from We Sound Crazy with your Black Music Month Spotlight. Missy Elliott is a pioneering American songwriter, rapper, singer, and producer. She emerged in the 1990s as part of the R&B girl group Sister and gained widespread recognition for her innovative approach to performance and music production.
Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly, super duper fly. Me, I'm super fly, super duper fly.
In 2020, Billboard ranked her at number 5 on their list of the 100 greatest music video artists of all time. And in 2023, Elliott became the first female rapper inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Being the first to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame means so much to me because I never thought that in a million years, like that's probably the top tier of making it as an artist.
Hey, it's Angelique here. Walt Disney World Resort is bringing you the culture with music, art, and food. Imagine savoring Princess and the Frog's decadent bread pudding and berry beignets at Disney's Port Orleans Resort. Take in Disney's Animal Kingdom Park's Circle of Life Festival, celebrating the Lion King and more. Walt Disney World Resort is a place where you can come and celebrate with your family, and you can do it soulfully. Bring yourself to Walt Disney World Resort and celebrate the culture.